Today, Baba's 20th of January, and Baba's talking about Maya. So, Ravan is generally depicted as a he, and he's got 10 male faces, and Baba changed that to 5 male and 5 female, and he has a lot of other equipment which is symbolic of the rule of Ravan. But Maya, it doesn't have a form. And sometimes Maya is referred to as illusion or delusion. The actual word means that which is not there. And yet, very often people think of Maya as a she, but there is no female version of Ravan. So Maya is a word that's used for a girl's name, but other than that, there's no she about Maya. It's very subtle, and Baba's talking about the force of Maya, how you become influenced by invisible forces. So this is something important to think about, and it also refers to prejudice. And Baba takes up prejudice, which is very unusual. Definitely in the translation you get, that word does not figure, but it is about prejudice. So it's important to think about what you have prejudice about, how prejudice arises, and how powerful it is as an instigator of karma. So this is very deep and interesting. So the essence is, sweet children, the illness of the 5 vices that you have had for half the cycle is now about to take leave. So when you're ill, you're not in your right consciousness, you can't feel right, you can't do things right, your emotions are all over the place, and it's not very nice physically, mentally, emotionally, etc. So Maya is an illness. Therefore, stay in limitless happiness. All this is going. The question is, what one hobby should you children have, and what should you have no connection with? So Baba says the answer is, have the hobby of claiming your full inheritance from the Father. People have all sorts of hobbies: stamp collecting, antique cars. Nowadays, everybody's hobby is their device, right? But that become an addiction more than a hobby. So I think hobbies has vanished from human experience, right? Pen pal, is that a hobby? Yeah, I suppose that's a hobby. Is your bicycling as a hobby or what? So hobbies are things that people like, arts and crafts and this all sort of thing. Anyway, you can give up all your hobbies. You have become the children of God, and you have to return home with the Father, and therefore forget all things that are connected with bodies. Just feed your stomach 2 chapatis and connect your intellect, that is focus of attention, to the new world. And the song is, what can storms do to those whose companion is God? Om Shanti. All of you, especially beloved, unshakable Mahavir children, understand that many types of storms will come in your minds. Calamities, illnesses, etc. will also come, because now it is the pomp of the final period. So Baba always connects the word pomp with Pompeii. Pompeii, which is the sort of Las Vegas of the Roman Empire, and the Vesuvius volcano covered it. And so Baba likes to connect pomp and Pompeii. So now it is the pomp of the final period, lots of technical this and that. So Maya will punch you a great deal. Hope you don't mind. Those whose intellects have firm faith know that the karmic accounts of their bodies will be settled. And when you are about to recover from an illness, you feel happy that you are now going to become free from that illness. You know that there are only a few more days. You have had this illness of the 5 vices for half the cycle. It is through this that people become sinful souls like Ajamil. What kind of sin was Ajamil? He was a rapist. So they never say that, but I checked it. So don't go around raping people. Only a few more days remain for this kind of world. These illnesses are now about to take leave. And people in the world do not know these things. It is as though they have devilish intellects. And they will continue to cry out in distress. So predators and prey. Sometimes you're the prey, sometimes you're the predator. You will continue to watch these events. But you don't have any connection with those things. This is not new. All of this has to happen. And there is no need to be afraid of it. Very little time remains. Your stomach only needs 2 chapatis. Now, your hobby is to claim your inheritance from Baba. People have many kinds of hobbies, but here you don't need any of those hobbies. Forget all things that are connected with bodies. Now, we belong to God. We have to go back with Baba, the bridegroom. That bridegroom is unique. He does not have a physical form. And because he doesn't have any discernible form, no one can remember him. You can't think about something or someone without a face. It's quite deep to remember Baba as he is and what he is. So this is a new way to remember God. Souls must remember God. You would not have remembered him like this for half the cycle. So when they remember God, it's according to some word or some prophet or some founder of religion or some deity or some symbol. In the golden age, you understand that you are souls, but you don't have any other knowledge. You know that I, the soul, will leave this body and take another. Here, in this world, they've made souls into the supreme soul by saying that God is omnipresent. So God is in me, God is in you. That means not a soul, but God. But for you, it is as though the old world no longer exists. The old ideas are gone, therefore it is gone. Your intellects, your focus of attention is now on the new world. When someone builds a new home, his focus of attention is no longer on the old one, but he's focused on the new one. People now have conferences of many different religions, but not a single one of their intellects is focused on the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul. You have now found the Father who teaches you. He is Gyaneshwar, the God of knowledge, and Yogeshwar, the God of yoga. So Ishwar means God. Yogeshwar is the one who teaches you to have yoga with him. So Gyaneshwar and Yogeshwara together gives you the knowledge of yoga. So Gyaneshwar means that God is the one who has knowledge. And Gyaneshwar is Yogeshwar, so he teaches you knowledge and yoga. And those who have firm faith understand that we are in this world only for a short time more. Now we have to return home. In any theatrical play, the actors are aware how much time remains before the end of the play, and they can then go home. So they look at their watches to see how much more time. But your clock is unlimited, and the whole 5,000-year cycle. You know that this is your last birth. And therefore you should experience great happiness that you're going to leave your old body and become princes and princesses of the new world. And that is your mama and baba will also become a princess and a prince. You children have to race with each other well and claim a high number ahead in the rosary of victory. If anyone would ask Baba, Baba would say, if they ask Baba what is my number in the rosary? So Baba would say, your activity is such that it seems you will definitely be close in the rosary of victory. You yourself would also know to what extent you pass. Some think that they will never pass. They think, even though I am Baba's child and I have surrendered everything and I'm sitting in Baba's lap, if I don't imbibe the knowledge, can't understand the knowledge, I will not receive a high status. Those who live at home with their families and do service can claim a better status than those who live here. It is also seen that they are going very fast. By coming to stay with Baba, there is more benefit. Clouds come to the ocean, fill themselves, and then go everywhere to shower the rain. So you are clouds going to the ocean of knowledge, then you go and tell knowledge to people. The Murli is sent everywhere. You should listen to the Murli and also read it to others. And those who do a lot of service claim a good status. This requires effort. If you do not make any effort here, you will fall. Everything depends on your efforts. Check your own pulse, and you can understand what status you will claim by the effort you make. What is the effort? The effort for Gyan and yoga. If you don't make effort now and claim a high status, then that will be the status every cycle. This is an unlimited drama. You have received unlimited intellects. There's great pleasure in knowing the beginning, the middle, and the end of the drama. But the storms of Maya are such that they make you do one or another wrong action. Maya conquers, that means influences. Very good children. As you progress further, there will be greater expansion and your name will be glorified. Now there are religious conferences taking place in Delhi, and a very good intellect is needed to explain at the conferences. And you have to have very good correspondence beforehand. The heads of the conference have a small committee meeting first, and then they have a larger conference. And all the facilities are arranged for people like the Pope in advance. So this one, Brahma Baba, also thinks about the conferences a great deal, that how to get into the conferences and with due respect. So very good, intelligent children are needed at such conferences to go and explain to those who are very sensible. So you know the first group which went to Japan, it was connected with a religious conference. 1952, 57 was it? 57, yeah. So first of all, take up the aspect of who the head is. So who is the head of us? Or who is the head of everyone? You have to say, Baba has come. God is the head of everyone, all the religions. So before this, no one knew about the deity Dharma. You are now happy that the head of the deity Dharma does exist. So they knew about deities, they knew about Hinduism, but they don't know what it is or who started it. And in Hinduism, they have the idea of incorporeal God as well as different deities. But it's so mixed that it's very difficult for an outside observer to figure out anything. Those who are mature in knowledge feel that they can now say to those people, tell us, which is the highest of all religions? And that religion should be made the head of all the other religions. Now, this is one of the reasons why Baba insists on this point of the Gita as the mother of all the scriptures. All the scriptures are derived from the Gita. And Shiv Baba is the speaker of the Gita. Now, that makes him the head of all religions. Once you prove that, then it's indisputable. So you BKs are the heads of everyone. You are the world mothers. And you have the status of mothers, the status of women. It is shown that the Kumaris shot the arrow at the Bhishma Pitama. So this is a prophecy that came to Bhishma that he could not be killed by any man. But he had fought in a tournament on behalf of the king who was too weak. So he fought and he got 3 wives. And one of them wanted to go back to her beloved who she wanted to get married with, but neither would Bhishma consummate the marriage because he made a vow of celibacy, and nor would her boyfriend accept her because he was afraid of Bhishma. So she did tapasya and left her body and got a new body as a man. And then she joined the Mahabharat war and killed him. And so this is a symbol or reference that at some point, you see, Bhishma is symbolic of the gurus of the Kauravas. So the gurus of the conventional Hindus, the Indian government and all this, they have the gurus that they believe in. And so those top gurus will eventually accept that Gyan, BK Gyan is correct. And so this story is that. So the Kumari, not Kumaris, but one Kumari shot one arrow at Bhishma. And so everyone has to come in front of you Kumaris. And you have to explain who the highest on high is. And then they will understand that the concept of omnipresence is false. So there are very specific things that Baba wants to be proved, and our job is to prove that. Then his work will be accomplished. You are now on the battlefield, and it is not anything new for you to give the Father's introduction. Very good children have the intoxication of having played their parts numerous times. This old world is about to end, and your old bodies have to be shed, and then you will play your roles all over again. Your intellects have now become broad and unlimited. You can see all your births, all your roles. Those old costumes have to be shed, and you will then take new costumes for 84 births, and this should always remain in your awareness. Every actor should be aware of his part. You have taken 84 births and you have played your parts, and the play is now to end. This costume too is now almost totally worn out. The world is also tamopradhan. And when our kingdom has been established, the destruction will begin. So, what is the meaning of when our kingdom has been established? One part of it has to be that when all the deity souls have been found, informed, and they create their position. And another has to be when the main leaders of India accept that this is truth. Then I think kingdom is established. So we will go and become the masters of the world in our next birth. Those who study here also receive something in this birth. You have now remembered that you will go and take birth to deities and then to warriors. That means the Silver Age kingdom. Let this knowledge drip in your intellects like a point of awareness flashes. It's not really a trickle, but it's more like a flash, I think. For only then will your mercury or the mercury of your happiness remain high, your temperature. Such things will continue to be churned in the intellects of those of you who are good effort makers. Baba has explained that you must perform actions. You have to do karma. And also increase your chart of remembrance. And the night time is good for this. Do not be tired in this. If you're unable to stay in this stage for most of the time, then when the storms come, they will exhaust you. Storms come against your wish and they drain your energy. However, if you continue to remember the Father and continue to extract topics, means find points to churn on, your heads will become full of knowledge. So when a storm comes, you have all the right points to neutralize it. So that's the end of that. It is Baba's experience that many storms come. And the more powerful you become, the more Maya tries to make you fall. This is a law. So it's a very interesting thing because some people, they are very ambitious and they want to go to a very high stage, position, etc. But then big storms come. So you have to be strong to handle it. The Father says Maya is very strong because it is now losing its kingdom. And so Maya will create many storms, but do not be afraid. If anything happens to your body, that is a settlement of karma. Do not choke over that. That means do not be upset about it. Those are your last bodies. Very little time remains. By remembering this, you remain very happy. At the present time, you are the ones who have the highest status in the drama. Highest status in the drama. Because you have come into the lap of the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul. And among you also, no one is as fortunate as those who are good effort makers, good Purusharthis. This happiness from God is also very elevated. You can explain that Bharat was heaven. It is an imperishable land, and there were no other religions, civilizations, concepts, ideas at that time. They came later. When the kingdom of the Sun dynasty has passed, it then becomes the kingdom of the dynasty of the moon. But no one knows this history and geography. It's pre-recorded history because no one knows the small destruction. They do speak of antediluvian. You know this word, antediluvian? This is in the Old Testament of the Bible. The antediluvian means the time before the great flood. And but there's no real record of it because the continuity was broken by this, what we call the small destruction and what they call Noah's flood. So no one knows that history and geography. You now know it. There, no one knows there will be the Silver Age after the Golden Age, and that when there are 2 degrees less, then that happiness also decreases. Happiness also means that the wealth of the world is distributed among a larger number of people, so there's less. If you were aware of this knowledge in the Golden Age, you would lose your happiness. And your conscience would bite that you were to come down again. You would not enjoy your kingdom. Here too, some say that they will become masters of heaven, but then they will have to come down again. So we have to become equal and neutral about the rise and fall. But Baba says there, you still have the happiness of having received the kingdom. Baba is now making you Trikaldarshi, seers of the three aspects of time. So you have to be neutral about having everything and having nothing. And that's a different state of consciousness. Even Lakshmi and Narayan, who are the masters of heaven, are not Trikaldarshi. It is only at the confluence age that the Father comes and gives each of you the third eye of knowledge and makes you Trikaldarshi. Why are all these ornaments shown on the deities? Ornaments means the symbols. The goddesses have 8 arms with so many weapons. And some of the weapons are delicate, like flowers and rosaries and a flame. Some of them are fierce, like trident and sword and club. They're all weapons. And so the reason is because it is symbolic of their final stage. Brahmins continue to rise and fall. And so they cannot be given these symbols. It would not seem right. This is such a wonderful secret of the drama. So there's 2 kinds of deities. One is the Shiv Shaktis, which belong to the confluence age. And then the other deities like Lakshmi and Narayan and Radha and Krishna, they belong to the golden age. The different types of deities. Only Brahmins are the spinners of the discus of self-realization, really the seers more than the spinners. Only through this knowledge do you become deities. At this time, you are the possessors of the discus of self-realization, Swadarshan Chakradhari. And you have the third eye of knowledge, and you are the seers of the past, present, and future, the Trikaldarshi. These are your titles. That's who you are. That's your identity. Don't forget. All these things have to be understood and explained. So first of all, give the Father's introduction and ask the question, what is your relationship with the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul? His name is God, the Father. You would not say that God the Father is omnipresent. I wasn't really listening to the song, but it usually has some statements about Maya. The song plays and we are somewhere else. Some people listen to the song. It's okay. Why do we have songs? It's a very good question. I think that, you hear all these songs quite a lot. Now there's millions of BK songs, but the original ones are more interesting to me, at least. And there's association. So you hear the song, you go to Baba. You don't go to the song. And that's kind of nice. And when there's a fixed set of songs for the traffic controls, and then there's some favorite ones for Bab Dada's program, or avyakt, and there's the Bog songs, and then there's all these latest greatest BK songs, which I don't know. I don't think they're that great myself, but there's one sister called Asmita from Calcutta. She's very, very good. And her mother is a professional singer. And she's a very yogi singer. And if somebody is just like a good professional singer, it's great, but it's lokik. So it doesn't really do it for me. But the consciousness of the singer conveys the feeling, So the song has a capability of getting people to go into Baba's remembrance. So it's a good thing. So I don't know if Bollywood is influencing BKs or if BKs are influencing Bollywood. But Baba got the the composers of the movies of the 1930s and 40s to be for his convenience, because he can do what he wants and inspire people. And there was a meeting between Avyakt Bapdada and that particular song composer and in Madhuban. And it was really amazing because he recognized that Shiv Baba had inspired him to make those songs. He was a very good poet. I don't know his name. Anyway, what is your relationship with the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul? His name is God the Father. You wouldn't say that God the Father is omnipresent. He is your Father. We even write, what is your relationship with the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul? And since you say Supreme Father, Parampita, he must definitely be the Father. So how could the Father be omnipresent? You receive the inheritance from the Father. The Father is the creator of the new world. So Lakshmi and Narayan received the inheritance of the new world. And there, deities do not need the third eye of knowledge. So if you see the pictures of Lakshmi and Narayan and Radha and Krishna, they don't have any third eye. But you see the goddesses, the Shiv Shaktis, Shankar also, third eye is there. So this confluence age, people have the third eye. So the third eye would definitely be given through Brahma. The explanation of the Trimurti is so good. You have to explain it in a very entertaining way. Entertaining means it has to catch somebody's attention. So it's not just entertaining, but something else, like you grab their attention because what you say is like, what? What a minute? What did you say? That kind of thing, attention grabbing. So those who are clever masters would have the practice of explaining. As the days go by, it will become very easy to explain to anyone. What is the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul for you? What is your relationship? Because in India, as in most of the Asian countries, people's identity is determined by their relationships. Like here in the United States, your identity is you only, with or without anybody else. But there, no. You're somebody's father, mother, daughter, son, cousin, etc. You don't have an identity all by yourself. And so this is why this question of relationship with God is very important. So they would say that he is their father. So the Father is the creator of the new world. There was the kingdom of deities in the golden age, and they would definitely have received their property from the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul. They study Raj Yoga and attain their kingdom. We are all BKs. So explain to anyone, oh, you say Father of the people, Prajapita Brahma. So he is your father, isn't he? So sometimes the people say there's Brahma Kumaris connected with this Brahma Baba. But he's not just Brahma Baba, he's Prajapita Brahma. That means there is no human being who is not his child. So, it's father of the people. Like in the Old Testament or in the Quran, they speak of Adam. So every human being is a child of Adam, a descendant of Adam. Adam and Prajapita, same thing. And Adam is a Hindi word meaning the man, Adam. And population is Adam Shumari. So all these words are connected with each other in the meaning. So this one, Shiva, is also the father. So Prajapita Brahma, father of the embodied souls, and Shiva, father of the souls. So you are Brahma Kumars and Kumaris. We are claiming our inheritance from Dada. So why are you Brahma Kumars and Kumaris? Because you get your inheritance from the grandfather. So either you're claiming it or you're not claiming it. So anyway, everybody is a child of Brahma, whether they know it or not, whether they like it or not, they are. The difference is we are claiming and they are not. So we're inviting them to also claim because there's plenty, the ocean is pretty large. So we are claiming our inheritance from Dada, the grandfather. You are not. So come and understand this. Make effort, and you too will receive the inheritance. Brahma, Prajapita Brahma, the father of the people, and Jagat Amba, the world mother, are the two main ones, so Adam and Eve. The inheritance you receive is the status of Lakshmi and Narayan. So what is that? The status of Lakshmi and Narayan. The status of Lakshmi is you have all the signs of a deity. The status of Lakshmi and the status of Narayan is you're true. Narayan means true. So everything is explained to you children in many ways. When you children go to big conferences as speakers, your name will be glorified. Ours is the aspect of knowledge, or the matter of knowledge, and everyone else is about bhakti. So we have the authority of knowledge to question anyone. Question anyone means challenge anyone. However, even those who are to understand are destined to understand, but they will not understand so quickly. They continue to go into unnecessary expansion. That means they will argue on the basis of the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Shastras, all these different scriptures. Because if they would understand this, they would lose their prestige, their authorities of bhakti. So it is written that the Kumari conquered Bhishma Pita. So they will. This has to happen. You see, when something is destined, doesn't matter what you do to prevent it, it won't be prevented. And so you have to just know that, because it's very, very powerful to know that you cannot fail. Very, very powerful. So this, I like it. You like that? Yeah, well, yeah. It's a very, very powerful piece of information. And nothing can take you down when you know that. It's really incredible. So think about it. So this has to happen. This part of the drama is definitely fixed. Acha. To the sweetest, beloved, long lost and now found children, love, remembrance, and good morning from the mother, the father, Bap Dada, And the spiritual father says namaste to the spiritual children. The spiritual children say namaste to the spiritual father. So the essence for dharana, in order to come into the rosary of victory, do service like Mama and Baba, or serve like Mama and Baba. Imbibe the Murli and then relate it to others, and let your behavior be very royal. Secondly, understand this unlimited drama with your broad and unlimited intellect, and experience limitless happiness. Do not be afraid of storms. Keep your intellect full by churning knowledge. Full means no space for any other thoughts. And the blessing, may you be full of good wishes and experience the avyakt stage by finishing all opposing feelings. So this word opposing feelings is a bit weird, so I checked it. And what it actually means, if you look it up in Google Translate, you get that, opposing feelings. But if you look it up in other dictionaries, you get other things. And it really refers to prejudice. Yeah, prejudice. And so if you are prejudiced against someone, then your feelings would be, it's not opposing, but hostile. So this expression really means hostile attitude because of prejudice. Many people in this world will have a hostile attitude to some people, some groups, because of prejudice. But if you are avyakt, you wouldn't have any prejudice, right? Because you see the soul. So you're not looking at skin color, caste, nationality, whether they're famous or not famous, or any of these things. You see right to the core of the person, no prejudice. So the basis of the flying stage or the falling stage in life is two things, bhavana and bhav. So this is translated as feelings and intention. But these words have many, 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 many different meanings. So you have to select. And it has to do with attitude and how you feel about what you are perceiving. So if your perception is filtered or distorted by prejudice, then your feeling is according to the bias. So bhav also has a meaning of bias. You can be biased for or against. And so we want to be unbiased. If you're biased, you'll go up and down. If you're unbiased, stable, steady. So these are very, very deep ideas that Baba is telling us. So having benevolent feelings for everyone, feelings of being loving and cooperative, feelings to increase courage and enthusiasm, feelings of soul consciousness, feelings of belonging. It's not really feelings, but it's a perspective. And these are all good wishes, because your feelings are up and down depending on the phases of the moon or the sunshine, or if you're in good mood or bad mood. But your perspective, your attitude is stable, steady, based on your wisdom. So those who have such feelings, that means such an attitude, they can stabilize in the avyakt stage, so unprejudiced. If your feelings oppose these, that means if your feelings are hostile because of prejudice, then that will pull you. As the main reason for obstacles is prejudice. So people are prejudiced or biased against women, against minorities, against different races, against people of different religions, against nationalities, etc. But a Brahmin cannot perceive anyone by those filters because they don't mean anything. You see exactly who is that person. Is this a deity soul? Yes. So it's quite deep. The slogan is, Maya is a paper tiger in front of those who have the company of the Almighty Authority. So, Almighty Authority means the omnipotent, the one who has all powers. Om Shanti. Experience the stage of being merged in love. Whomever you love, you would do something for them that they like. Now, the father doesn't like when children get upset. So, in the face of different situations, don't say, what can I do? The situation was like this, and so I got upset. Even when an upsetting situation comes in front of you, do not let that upset your stage. Very strong. Om Shanti. So, let us overboard to Baba. But also a very important thing to do is to check how prejudice is operating in you. Because I think most people have some or another kind of prejudice about something, right? It's all around. And to become completely unprejudiced, bodiless, colorless, viceless, nationalityless, cultureless, that's the avyakt. Nice description. Om Shanti. When we offer Bhog, it's about coming close to the subtle regions, which means the avyakt stage. This is the avyakt month, and Baba gave us the homework of Manjit, right? Manjit, to be a master of the mind. And what is the soul? This conscious energy that has a mind and has an intellect and has sanskaras. Manjit is, I think, connected with being in your original stage, your eternal stage, and your final stage. And this idea about being completely free from hostile bias is helpful to achieve this Manjit stage. What impacts the mind in this world, conspiracy theories and fake news, all of this. And something that is sometimes mentioned in India is the power of rumors. Someone spreads a story and it impacts people's mind. So manjit is where your Baba said in this Murli, your intellect is full with knowledge. Full with knowledge means in Baba's intellect is the sanskaras of knowledge. So you keep the knowledge in your intellect, then you have Baba's sanskaras of knowledge in your intellect. And when something is to be done, some karma is to be done, the stimulus comes in the mind, but the decision what to do comes from the intellect. Sometimes we hear this word buddhi yoga came in the Murli today quite a lot. Buddhi yoga, literal translation is yoga of the intellect, but it also means focus of attention. It's yoga of the intellect. We don't know what that is. Yoga of the intellect. But this is also called Gyan Yoga. And Baba said to us, he is Gyaneshwar, Yogeshwar. What is yoga? He said in the Murli, this is a new way of remembering God, different from what people could figure out in the path of bhakti. So it is sometimes called the yoga of knowledge. The knowledge is the inheritance. What you do with it, you create your fortune. It takes a long, long time to figure out what Baba's talking about because it's deep and hidden in between the lines. So he wants us to churn. Today we got third eye, Swadarshan Chakradhari. We are the possessors of the cycle of the self. That's the same as the third eye. It's the same as being the seer of the three aspects of time. So when you have this, then Manjit is there, I think. Because some sense perception occurs, some event, some statement from someone, and it creates an impact in the mind. And so Baba says, if you know, then that knowledge must override the impact of the sense perception. Then you will act according to what is and not according to what seems to be. Because the mind can only record appearances, also called experiences. An experience could be positive or negative, or pleasant or unpleasant, or surprising or boring, or all of these emotive words. And prejudice or hostile feelings can only arise when the intellect is not being used. Otherwise, people use faulty logic. If this, then that, but the first premise is wrong, and then the next sentence is wrong, so your conclusion will be wrong, and the karma would be wrong, is how it works. Logic, or faulty logic. So manjit means that the soul will perceive what is, not what seems to be, right? Because an event happens and you assign a meaning to that event. And according to the meaning that you assign to that event, you feel something. Is it? And so manjit is when you put it through the lens of knowledge or the filter of knowledge. And knowledge says, it doesn't mean anything. It just is. Whatever happened, it just is. And so you can say, so what? It doesn't mean you are good or bad. It doesn't mean you are fortunate or unfortunate, but you assign meaning. And you assign meaning according to the impact. But otherwise, it has no meaning. So he says, it's a drama. And he says, I will teach you ways to extract the real meaning, which is so nice. What is the real meaning is stay steady. You are Trikaldarshi, Trilokinath, Trinetri, Swadarshan Chakradhari. This is your identity. So everything else is secondary to that, right? Or not right? We have to go to the deepest spot to make ourselves independent of adverse circumstances. It was interesting that Baba said, the higher person you are, the greater will be the storms. So this is a law. So if you experience really many things which are specially designed to cut you down, put you down, make you doubt yourself, to prove to you in 1,000 different ways that you are not cut out for anything in particular. All of this is something designed to make you lose contact with who you are. And it's important to know that. And then you have a choice and you say, okay, well, who am I? And he says, well, Trinetri, you have the third eye. Nobody has the third eye. Very, very few have the third eye. If you have the third eye, there isn't anything higher than that. You have it. You know the past, present, and future. Nobody knows that. You are the possessor of the ultimate weapon. The Swadarshana chakra is the ultimate weapon. That's very powerful. you are close to God. Shiv Shakti, taking power direct from God. This is your identity. And as powerful as that identity is, that much powerful, the force of negativity will attack you to make you unable to hold on to it.
It's like second guessing yourself.
Yes, yes, second guessing yourself. So we listen to these things many times for many years because it doesn't really go in, but it has to go in. And once it goes in, you get it. And you get it and then you forget it. So you have to get it many times so that you don't forget it. And gradually you become it. And then whatever happened or whatever anybody said has no meaning because it's so secondary to what is, you see. And then you come into your power. This is all about coming into your power. You have to be awake. So many people are asleep. Maya is supposed to make people go to sleep. Chloroform, you know. And all of it is because the mind gives credibility to shadows. But the reality is not that. Reality is something that has nothing to do with events or occurrences. But people take their identity from appearances. If people say you are beautiful, then you think you are beautiful. If people say you are ugly, then you think you are ugly. This is public opinion. So influential, so powerful. Rumors. The best is you leave your body and you go instantly to the next one. But while you are in the womb, you know, the soul can be called to the subtle regions, and various things can happen during that time in the womb. And so sometimes Baba says that in the womb of your next birth, any outstanding karma can be finished by visions. And your previous body's subtle body comes with you into the womb and stays with you, and slowly, slowly it fades away, and you get into your next identity. And some people have said that up till about the age of 4, you're still connected with your previous birth. And some young children can remember their previous lives, and then it fades away as they get into their current life. Sometimes you get little babies who are inconsolably crying, nothing you can do. So it has been said that they're having an experience connected with settlement of karma from something they did in that previous birth, but you can't reach them, you know. So it is kind of on the invisible side, but it can be known. Prajapita means father of the people. So the people is humanity. And so, but his sort of official name in the Hindu pantheon is Prajapita Brahma. is well known, Prajapita. And so they say that he's the creator of humanity. And so then Shit Baba explains how he is called the creator of humanity, and that in fact he's not the creator, but Shit Baba is the creator through him. And then he says that he's a male, but he's performing the function of the mother, because from a biological point of view, the male has to enter into the body of the female and produce a child physically. And then Shiv Baba says, well, he's my wife, you know. I don't have a body, but I'm the father of all souls. But in order to make that relationship a practical reality, I have to come into the body of the father and the mother, the wife, and speak to you. And so you are born through the mouth, Mukhavam Shavali Brahmins. So when he says to you, I am your father through this mother and you are my child, and you say yes, that's called adoption or birth through the mouth. And it is said for Brahmins that you cannot be a Brahmin unless you are born twice. And so in the Christianity, they talk about the born again, right? You have to be born again. So one birth is your physical birth, the other is your spiritual birth. So they got that from this relationship of a soul to Shiv Baba through the medium of Brahma. Because you see, what Baba had said is the Gita is the mother of all the religions. So all the spiritual information for all religions originates in the confluence age. And then they will take the concept and they will take the concept and they will apply it to that religion. And so Baba very often talks about there's a deep connection between Christ and Krishna. So all the stories about Brahma and about Krishna and this 84-birth soul of Brahma, they all got mixed into the biography of Christ in order to get the Christians to believe that this is the only Son of God. And he says, actually, Brahma Baba is my only son, and all you are my grandchildren. And that includes Christ. But once this information is clearly articulated and recognized by everyone, then this is how Shiv Baba says, I establish truth and I destroy all the other untrue religions. And by just clarifying the information, the other religions lose their validity. And because the basis on which they are defined is no longer valid. And so then everybody will have to get past their founders of religion and go connect straight to God, which is what the purpose of their religion is anyway in the first place, right? But it's very difficult for the people of the different religions to have a direct connection with God because they don't have enough information. And once they get enough information, then there's nothing to stop them except for preconception, prejudice. So it's kind of interesting.
I ended up with two questions.
Okay.
First, a simple, they burn robin. There's 10 of women, 10 of men vices. 5 of each. And
Can you speak
why don't
slightly
they-
louder? I can't hear.
why don't they only burn robin? They do not burn Maya. That's the number one question. Then the other one is, Brahma Baba is alone but he knows who he's going to be his empress, and Mama knows he's going to be his emperor. So I think that's extra that he doesn't feel lonely because he knows he's going to be married to Lakshmi, but we don't know who we're going to be married.
Okay, that's a very interesting one. People have asked Baba this, okay, who will I get married to in the golden age? Because you get your favorite BK who you think, this will make a nice Lakshmi or a nice Narayan for me. And Baba says, no, it's not calculated like that. But who is at your same level of spiritual development by the end, that's who you get married to. So Brahma Baba and Mama were at the same level. And so that makes suitable marriage. Because if you get married to somebody who's not your level, there's going to be a problem all the way. But if you get married to somebody because of physical attraction or karmic account, it's not very likely to be same level person. But in the golden age, where it's not a matter of karmic accounts, what brings you together is you're the same level. And so, and the golden age is kind of choreographed and very predestined. So all you have to do is reach your level and the right person will come along. And I think the question of loneliness doesn't arise because Baba says, I am everything for you. Question of loneliness cannot arise. But yes, it was extremely helpful for Brahma Baba, for Mama to be there, first head of the yagya, looking after all these BKs, because Baba had to be busy with doing some special work, special spiritual work that you don't have time to look after all these BKs and still do that. So Mama was that. But then when Mama left the body, then Brahma Baba had to do the work of the mother. So it was a big loss for him. But then the other sisters, we call the daddies, and some of the brothers, they were mature to take care of the family. That was fine. And
what about the burning of Maya?
Burning of Maya. Well, in the Indian mythology, in the story of the Ramayana, there is this destruction of Ravan as a war between Ram and Ravan is destroyed. And they talk a lot about fire in the Ramayana. So Sita had to go through fire to prove that she was Sita. And that it's an example of you have to be tested endlessly, but nobody's going to believe it anyway, regardless of the test. So, but fire is purification. Now, Maya, although in the Murlis they tend to use the word she for Maya, but there's no indication anywhere that there's anything female about Maya. Maya is very subtle, and it literally means something that's not there. So there is an interesting statement that I used to hear a lot when I first came in Gyan, and people used to just say it to me all the time. Do not be a blind man looking for a black cat in a dark room, and the black cat isn't there. Not really about Maya, but it has to do with people who are investigative reporters. They want to find out what's there. And a lot of time people say nothing is there. Actually, something is there. No smoke without fire. It's also something to help people to understand that Maya is seems to be there, but it really isn't. So you have in the Murli today, Maya is paper tiger. Paper tiger is not particularly feminine, but people in the patriarchal culture, which is also like in Christianity, who is to blame for the problem of the world? Eve, right? Woman. And so they make Maya woman to support the contention that we are blameless, it's all her fault. And this is just misogyny. But you see, once it is clear that we are neither male nor female, then the question of misogyny is obliterated. You see, because religion is based on the idea that the identity of a human is they're either male or female, and that's not true. Baba says, no, you're a soul, genderless. And you have exactly the same number of male and female bodies in your reincarnations. So tell me, what is the basis of saying somebody is male or female? Only prejudice. And because they make a bias, males are high and females are low, therefore, this is faulty logic, you see. And because especially people who've grown up in very strong religious background, they are very indoctrinated. And one of the meanings of this word bhav is indoctrination. So your perception is colored by your indoctrination. And indoctrination and prejudice is the same thing. Where do you get your prejudices from? People around you as you grow up. They tell you this is like this is good, this is bad, talk to this one, don't talk to that one. Women are good, men are not good, or men are good, women are not good, dogs are bad, whatever you're indoctrinated with, it becomes your perception. And so this word bhav also has that. And it also means how you assign value to something. What is the value of a kilo of tomatoes? It depends on availability, right? But you don't give things intrinsic value because of preconception, you see. So soul consciousness is obliterating all that because it's not real. So that's Maya, you see. But it's hard for people to process these kind of ideas because they not really educated in how to think. And yet Baba does give us a very extraordinary education in how to think. But it takes a long, long time to think clearly and without any prejudice, without any bias, without any emotion. Because these things are packing your mind and creating, in the Gita, a very nice expression for Maya, that it's like a wind which carries your boat somewhere else other than where you're headed. And then you have to find your way back again. So the Gita has got extraordinary images in it, extraordinary truths, but because people interpret it according to preconceptions, then it's deviated away. So when Shiv Baba tells us the Murli, he says, this is the original Gita. And there's, Murli upon Murli upon Murli upon Murli. He doesn't just arrive and say, "Let there be light," and that's it. The sun turns on. No, there's details about everything. And so it takes us a long time to study it and to grasp it and process it and gradually get free from the effect of experience. Long time. And then you become karmatit. That's the last thing. And then you say, "Have a nice day. Goodbye." And you go. Okay.
Did Brahma die at 93 years old?
93. I think so. 93. Yes. Okay. So let's have just a moment and conclude.